Take it away, Tash.
Hello and welcome to... I know.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be good for you to intro,
I'll do it. Ready?
Mix things up a little
Sure.
bit, spice it up.
Okay, ready? Hello and welcome to In Focus with Jones Road Productions, where we guide you on all things video marketing for small and medium-sized businesses. As always, with me is the wonderful Ben. I can remember your name then.
Hi, Tash.
That's good.
You're really good at these intros, eh?
I am actually quite good at these intros. Anyway, I'm Tash and we run Jones Road Productions, and we're here to guide you on all things video marketing and just help you out with making an impact when it comes to your videos.
Hey, let us know in this poll if you'd rather have me doing the intro or Tash.
That's cruel.
No, it's not. It's what other people should do. They should ask the audience what they want
They should.
instead of just assuming.
Have we done a podcast on that? We should do it.
I don't know. Put it on the list.
What are we talking about today, Benny?
Invisible videos.
Right, okay. What does that mean?
The latest trend on the internet at the moment, invisible videos. Basically, what it means is, Tash, is that people are creating videos that don't say anything. So I call them invisible videos.
But they can be seen. Maybe silent
It's more
videos.
deaf or silent, but it didn't have the same ring to it, though.
Silent videos.
Yeah, but if we say invisible, it's probably more catchy. Good for the thumbnail.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Everyone knows every business out there should be creating more and more video content.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good, but a lot of times people get a bit stuck on what they should be creating. So a lot of times people who are creating social media clips like Reels, they're just kind of jamming a whole bunch of random shots together without thinking about the sequence, the message, or the story that they're trying to tell.
So videos for video's sake.
It's just for keeping up with the Joneses, something to post, right?
Something to post.
And I will say that I do think there's a place where, you know, some content is better than no content.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to you getting your marketing manager or you're paying someone to do this content creation for you, you want to actually be shifting the needle in some direction.
Yeah.
You want to be saying something,
Yeah.
you know?
I think what you see sometimes is, like, as you say, like some really nice shots. Like this is like a nice sequence or whatever it might, you might have some,
Oops.
you might have some nice shots, but it's like, what's that actually giving me?
Yeah.
What is that telling me? What's the, like, every video should have a purpose and a message. Doesn't need to be a video. Doesn't necessarily need to be story driven in terms of like actual narrative that you hear or a voiceover, but it does need to have a point. Like every video should have a point. And I think what's happened is this need to have constant curation and constant video content, and this pressure to be like, we have to be doing this all the time, has just meant that the quality has diluted a little bit. And just kind of videos kind of going up without much thought. So I guess turning that into a positive, how can we help our audience by going, okay, let's make sure you're not doing that. So I think number one would be, again, what's the purpose of this video? Doesn't matter if it's a little reel, doesn't matter what it is, actually write down what is the purpose of this video.
I think that's probably where it's becoming a little bit unstuck, is that there is such a huge need for video that the process is almost getting rushed and going, we need to do it, we need to do it. Shit, we don't really have time to like really do any kind of strategy on what it should look like. Just go and fucking film something and chuck it out there.
Yeah, I know. Whereas it kind of is actually needs, it doesn't need to be a massive amount of work. It just needs to be, hey, what's the purpose of this video? What's the purpose of this video? What's the message that we want to get across? It can still be a 20 or 30 second reel. It's actually identifying what's the message. I think that unfortunately is what we're missing a little bit.
And as well as I guess identifying what the message is, you also want to have an idea what like you want the business to get out of it. We talk about what does video success look like, and it's not always sales. It could be building your audience, it could be building trust within the audience you've already built, all these different things. You need to think about that when you also thinking about the purpose and the message.
100%. It's like, what's this showing? What part of this business, what part of our business is this showing? It's just like, who's watching this? What's their problem? What's their desire? What is it that we're trying to appeal to here? What is it that we're trying to tap into? Can you give us any examples?
Of?
about how potentially if a business is watching this and they're saying, oh, I feel like I'm doing that, some of my content doesn't have any purpose. You know.
Well, I would pump the brakes and go back to the start of what we always do and go, okay, where's the business at?
Yeah.
What are we struggling with? What are we doing really well at? What do we need help with? What do we want to change? You know, all these questions about the business that then filter through to what content we need to be creating.
Yeah.
So as simple as, like I said earlier, do we just need more bloody sales?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Most, you know, a lot of,
I mean, everyone needs more sales, right? Let's be honest.
of course, but
I guess the road to get there can be different. It can be a short path,
yeah.
or it can be a long...
I guess it depends on the product as well.
Yeah, so there's questions you need to ask.
I also think I see a few videos that are like looking really slick and there's some quite nice shots and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this looks good. I'm like, but what's the
Got that high roller slapper beat behind it.
But I'm just like, but what's the point? Like, I'm like, oh, that was cool, but what's
Yeah.
the point? You know? And unfortunately, what happens is, the way our brains work is that we see something and we're like, oh, that's cool. Swipe. So I think it's cool, but if it's got no message, if it's not giving me a call to action, if it doesn't have a message behind it, I'm not going to do anything. So it's not just about what do you want the person that watches this to do? Do you want them to buy from you? Do you want them to like? Do you want them to comment? What do you actually want them to do? Because you can have a really beautifully shot video and that's all well and good. But if you're not asking your audience to do something from it, right?
Yeah.
Then they're probably going to see it and just scroll on by. So it might have some really pretty shots. It might be cool, but it becomes meaningless.
And it doesn't have to be, I think, where sometimes smaller businesses who are doing this stuff themselves get hung up with this whole call to action thing. I don't think you don't have to explicitly put a call to action on the bloody video.
No, but you have to invoke a feeling that they want to do.
What are they going to do now? Yeah. Am I going to go to their profile and look at more of their videos?
Yeah, no.
Do I just want to check them out and see who are these people?
Yeah,
This is quite, no.
Yeah.
And if you get them to actually click on your profile, that's massive. It's a big win.
Yeah, but it's kind of going, how am I going to intrigue them?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Basically, I think what we're trying to say is, don't put really nice shots together for 20 seconds and just smush it into a reel. It's,
I think,
like, please.
I think I'm exposed to it more because obviously doing a lot of video editing, a lot of my feed can be people who edit videos.
Yeah.
And so I'm exposed to all these edits that are so sick and they've got these like amazing transitions and zoom transitions and the FPV drone and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then
like
you get to the end of the video and go, that was cool, but like,
What was it?
what was
What's the point?
That looked like it cost a lot of money to make.
Yeah.
What's the point of this?
Yeah. Apart from people go, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, does that move the needle? No.
That's cool isn't going to get you anywhere,
No, it's not.
unfortunately.
So I think it's about, going back to your purpose.
Yeah.
And just doesn't need to be overcomplicated, right? I'm not talking about having your strategy from the get. I mean, ideally you do a 12-month strategy and you work out what the calendar year looks like for you, and that's when it's a bit more thorough. But you know, if you're thinking, hang on, we are light on the content here.
Yeah.
Write down, what's our purpose?
Yeah.
What do I want? What do I want? What does this month look like for me, and what can I do to get us to that objective?
Yeah. I think there are tricky situations sometimes if it comes to like filming certain events.
Yeah.
Where things haven't happened yet and might not happen. It comes a little bit harder to plan for.
Yeah.
But that's when you try and maybe do something a little bit different, not just the same every day. Like, yeah.
I think it's also like, you know, and I always say this, like, be single-minded, right? Like I always say, be single-minded, because that's the most effective way to get your message across, right? So if you're thinking about one thing, what's one thing, just one, you want your audience to take away from that? And then you craft your video around that.
My cat biscuits are for the poshest cats. Is that a thing?
Yeah, look, I think it is a thing. I think the obsession around the cat biscuits is probably something we should take offline.
Not very helpful?
I don't think it's not very helpful. I think it's just you're really interested in these cat biscuits.
We clean the tallest buildings in Auckland.
We clean the tallest buildings in Auckland.
There we go. That's a good one.
It's a great one.
Yeah. We actually use jetpacks. Yeah, we don't abseil, we use jetpacks. So
Really?
it's a bit of USP. If you might.
We actually use helicopters.
Yeah.
And we just jump out and we just clean.
We just tip the bucket out the door.
We just
Job done.
We do it easy.
Oh,
Yeah. No, but I just think,
So the key takeaway from this podcast would be strategize, identify the purpose.
Yeah. Doesn't need to be like super heavy and super, like, I think people go, oh, that takes effort and who's got time for that? It takes time. Doesn't, just literally one key thing. Just one key thing, one key takeaway.
Yeah.
Please do not just smush pretty shots together and go, yep, that'll do for a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not about that. Like, just make your content work harder for you.
Yeah.
Make it work as hard as you possibly can.
If you're doing an event, say it's an auction, you're selling houses.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to do? Do you want to highlight the top lots?
Yeah.
The emotion of the people buying, the emotion of people selling?
Yeah.
You know, there's just lots of different things you can focus on.
100%. So I'd be going, let's start, we're going to do one reel and it's going to be on the emotion. And that's what it's going to be. And it's going to be, maybe it's going to be 5 3-second shots of people selling their house at auction, and there's tears and there's cuddles and there's a cuddle for the real estate agent and all of this sort of stuff, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Super powerful. What it's not is just some random houses.
It's like a few bids and a few sales and
that emotion, right? Cool. It's a really good example. As opposed to just like a shot of a house, another shot of a house, a shot of a hammer, a shot of, like, you know, it doesn't really tell me anything. So it's like, cool, that's this week's reel. And then next week's reel.
it tells you it's like, oh, obviously some houses were sold. That's cool. That's great.
Exactly. But precisely. But you know, potentially it's the next week's reel is something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's the...
That's the thing, you can do that one, but then you don't... I guess the advice would be stop trying to do the same one. Do something different.
Yeah, do something different. So what's next week's reel? We've got our emotive one. What's next week? Is it top lots?
Could be the top lots. We've got a couple of really nice houses that we know are going to sell for 10, 15, probably 20 million.
Oh, wow.
In Takapuna.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Right? And you're really appealing here now to a different demographic. You're appealing to the people that are like, oh, I want to be in that.
It's a little bit elitist.
A bit elitist, and that's okay. Because that's okay. Because if that reflects us as a brand and that's who we are as a estate agent, then that's fine. You know, it's like if that's okay. But again, it's just, you know,
what's it called when you're striving, but what's it called?
Aspirational,
just like my at TRA Links, if you're watching this, hook it up
Honestly,
with them. Hook it up with the
waiting until you had to drop that in. I was waiting. When are we going to talk about TRA?
Yeah, I mean, jeez, when are we going to talk about it?
But okay,
right.
One last one.
Go.
Golf.
Oh.
I know.
Go on then. We could do a whole podcast on golf.
Yeah, we could. So Rory McIlroy won the Masters, and I cried.
Why are we talking about this?
Because of golf.
Okay.
So literally a week, 7 days before Rory McIlroy won the Masters. You love golf. I couldn't really care less about it. That's your thing. You know, I like the Netflix series because it's really well put together. So I totally appreciate it from a storytelling perspective. Like, I think it's great. The golf game itself, and I love sport, but the golf game itself was just not one for me. Fast forward 7 days to the end of the Masters, and I'm hiding under the duvet because I cannot bear if he misses this putt or not.
Yeah.
So.
And he missed it.
And it was not good.
But then he made it.
Yeah. So, if we're TRI Legs.
Yeah.
Let's get specific here. I don't know anything about their business or their brand or their objectives, but let's make it up. We're a new golf course, relatively new.
Yes.
We're high ticking, so
yes, we are.
Yeah. So we're appealing to a certain demographic.
Yeah.
We've got a new restaurant open. We're building a spa. We're building a gym. So what's our objective here? Is it to get more people in the door to the restaurant, or is it to get more people playing golf, or is it membership, or give me the objective here. Let's play with one of them.
The restaurant has just been open to the public, so we want to get more bookings for the restaurant.
So it's actually specifically about the restaurant as opposed to playing golf.
Although, you're on the course, you can see people playing and all
beautiful. So it's a nibbly experience. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So we're going to focus on our restaurant, right? What is it about the restaurant that makes it so special?
The exorbitant prices, the quality of...
Is it the location?
The location... Cool. Is really amazing on the waterfront, right by the 18th green, I think it is, something like that. The food is obviously incredible.
Cool.
I actually don't think it's that expensive.
Well, why not for this rate or we focus on? So let's do food next week.
Okay. So should we do proximity? Yeah.
Let's do location.
Yeah.
I want to hear the sound of the waves. I want to walk into the restaurant and I want to see how close I am to the ocean, right? Okay. I want to sit down and I want to have a glass of wine and I want to see that view. I'm picturing myself there, right? It's all about the location. Firmed up, right?
Next week,
food.
Yeah.
The food. Right. Oh my God. You know, let's see it all being plated up and people enjoying their meals and everything else. Like, you know, I mean, it's so easy to do like this, right? But I would be thinking more of a kind of a narrative and I guess the message.
From the ocean to your plate.
Yeah.
Maybe, because I think there's a lot of seafood.
Yeah. Again, when you know the business, you can flesh it out. But you see what I mean? How it's just kind of going, okay, this is what we're doing this week. This is what we're doing next week. This is what we're doing next week.
Yeah.
And not just, what you could do is just see a golf ball, then you could see a plate of food, then you could see the ocean, then you could see someone with their thing, you know, then you could see someone with their golf bag, then you could see, like, you know, there's so many things that you could think that you need to do there,
Yeah.
right, to make a reel about TRI links. But if we're getting granular and we're going, hey, it's this restaurant and hey, it's this location, we need to give enough context to know where we are, but actually really and truly we're being single-minded.
Yeah, wow. You've blown my mind here. You've gone full circle from you not watching golf, you crying when Rory missed the shot, to video concepts for TRI links.
Yeah, I know. So don't say I don't think about you.
And that's the power of conversation, everyone.
And your interests. Yeah. So as always, hit us out if you need some help, if you need some guidance, any, you know, when it comes around to, if you're TRI links, please contact us, because Ben, we love to work with you.
They've actually got an on-site person, unfortunately. But
Yeah, that's like, but yeah, if you do obviously need any help whatsoever when it comes to kind of strategy or working out, you know what your message might be, or just a bit of a plan, just hit us up. We're so happy to help.
Yep, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and check out some of the other reels we've created, because there's plenty
Yes, there's so much
of golden
information.
nuggies on there.
Yeah, so much information on there. So yeah, please do like, share and comment. See ya.